on Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
This is Councilman Kaz Kwiatkowski, and we might be having a visitor shortly, but I'm not sure today. But feel free to call in. The number is listed there. And just a reminder that for those that are listening, you already know it, but some of the local channels have been changed, and the city channel is now on, I think, 1024, and Cat TV is like 1002. So if you have any friends or neighbors that are curious, you can fill them in on the new channel lineups, and that was a subject of a lot of complaints by people, not only the channel lineups, but the whole issue with Spectrum TV, and some people are wondering if we could, have another company come in, and that's been looked at, but good luck. I would doubt if it's going to happen. Generally, these companies have agreements and territories, and it usually doesn't work out. And getting on, well, the weather's starting to change, and this is the last day of Breast Cancer Month awareness. I forgot to put on my pink tie today, but one more day with breast cancer awareness, and Halloween's coming up, so be careful with the young kids. I don't have the schedule on me about when they'll be going out, but just be careful and drive safely. Hopefully the winter won't be coming around too quick, but with the weather turning cold, it looks like our summer's finally gone, and unfortunately, those things happen. Driving around town, watching all the construction going on, we're hoping that some of these projects come to a little faster fruition and kind of renew the city, bring back the tax base, and it'll be a good thing for the city. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I'm bleeding Yankee blue.
Boy, I bet you are.
Hey, what can we say?
Hey, you know what, though? Hey, you guys beat us. I can't say anything more,
Well, hey, it's good to see somebody else in there for a change.
Yeah, but not the Yankees. They've been in there too much.
Well, they only have,
27.
27 pennants and 25 World Series.
No, 27 championships, I think, altogether.
Well, what about you're talking about World Series?
Yeah, I think it's 27.
It's around there somewhere. But you know what? If the Yankees would have played the old Billy ball,
yeah,
they probably would have won.
Well, you know what they say about ifs and buts.
True, but Billy wouldn't take care of any of that. If you're not hitting a pitcher, what do? You bunt.
Yeah, we were talking about a bunch of, I call us old timers. We were talking about the old game,
Yeah.
Well, actually, I was talking with Paul Faust.
Yeah.
He's one of the big, outside of you, he's probably one of the biggest Yankee apologists and fans in the world.
Oh, no, there was one that he passed away last year.
Who is that?
The Korchak.
Oh, he was not a Yankee.
No, he hated the Yankees.
Yeah, but I mean, Paul and you are Yankee apologists and fans, I think, right?
No.
Huh?
No.
You're not a Yankee fan?
I've been a Yankee fan since 1950.
Well, that's what I meant. You and Paul are the biggest Yankee fans in Erie.
I've been a Yankee since 1952.
Yeah, he brings up these names like.
I can still see Yogi when he tagged out. Who was it, Jackie Robinson sliding home?
Yeah.
And he was out.
I used to watch Yogi play up in Cleveland, but we were talking about how the game has changed.
Oh yes.
How it was more pure. At least we thought it was.
It's changed dramatically. You go 5 innings, you bring in the middleman, then you bring in the closer, just like the Sandman. You know who the Sandman was, don't you?
Let me guess. I used to remember. It wasn't. Who was it?
Mario Rivera.
Oh, is that what they called him?
The Sandman.
I go back a little further back than that, even, but.
Well, I got an old card here I was looking at the other day. It's the signature card of Andy Carey.
I remember that name.
Gil McDougal?
Yep.
He put Herb Score to the Fritz.
Unfortunately, yep. And When I first saw the Yankees, the first time I saw them play, well, I'm not as old as you were, but Hector Lopez was a left fielder.
Yeah, I remember. Of course, I go back way. I'm a youngster now. I'm just a few years older than you.
Yeah, we used to laugh. Johnny Blanchard was the third catcher, and he's pretty good, though, remember?
John Blanchard was a great catcher. Alston Howard.
But he was third in line, though.
Yes, he was. Well, look what happened when Lou Gehrig came in.
You know, if Yogi was playing today, he would have been a designated hitter, probably.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, you know.
But there's the only guy I know or knew that had not enough fingers for all the World Series rings he had. They were in his New Jersey museum down there.
He never sold his, huh?
Oh, he's got 11 World Series rings.
He never sold them either, right?
No. It's just like who was it now? They just got rid of a Rolex watch. I think it was Paul Newman's Rolex watch, a Mark I.
Yeah.
It went for, I believe, $13 or $14.8 million. But the money went to his son's foundation. His son got killed racing.
How much would your watch go for?
$298.
You could have mine for $1.25, right?
I had an old Bulova that I got when I graduated. One of those self-wind ones with the luminous dial.
Oh, I got the Accutron. I can't find any parts for them anymore.
You can't?
No, there was a place believe it or not, there was a place in Minnesota. You had to send it away.
Yeah.
I've been looking locally, there's nobody that does it. And the problem is that Bulova doesn't make the parts anymore.
No.
So what you got to do is find somebody that has a stockpile of old watches. And good luck. I've tried every jeweler in Erie. Unless, you know.
Remember that guy out in Lawrence Park?
Who's that?
There's a watch repair guy out there.
I'll try him, but I did a lot of research in town and nobody.
I've seen his ad a few times. You know, I've got an old Bulova that one of the guys gave me. It's 10-karat plated gold and a gold chain and got the fob and all that. And
I've had old watches. I had my dad's World War II military watch repaired.
Yeah, luminous dial?
No, they weren't. They wasn't that good. It was one of the cheaper models.
Black-faced one.
They gave them out to the GIs. It has the 24-hour clock on it.
Yeah.
But they actually, I brought it to a gentleman that was out of Liberty Street there, near the donut shop on Liberty and Peach.
I don't recall.
He's got a little watch shop up there. He did a nice job on it.
Well, the guy that would have probably taken care of it, he's gone now. He went out of business.
Who was that?
King of Diamonds.
Yeah, a lot of those guys were, they had jewelers, but...
They sent their stuff out.
Yeah, well, they used to have guys in town. When I talked to them, they said, well, at one time we had, people that did it, but not anymore,
I used to go and buy stuff there on Turnpike Road.
Yep, I remember that.
A little jewelry shop. I'd go in and ask him, what does he have that nobody showed up to pay for the pawn?
I've been looking for some pictures of Turnpike.
That guy on Facebook, he might have some.
Yeah, I remember roughly there was a leather shop there too, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a leather shop.
Yeah, it was...
barber shop. There was Palmasanos.
Yeah, it's all that's left now is what's behind Junior's.
Yeah, that little old lady there, she cut my son Dominic's hair. She was a big, husky woman, and my wife took him there when he was young to get his hair cut, and he got afraid in a dentist chair.
Oh, the one by Turnpike there.
Yeah, right next.
I think there's a pizza shop in there now.
Yeah, in fact, she told my wife, you hold him and I'll cut his hair, let him scream his head off.
Hey, when you coming on the show? I'm getting all kinds of...
Pretty quick here. I'm starting to feel a lot better and getting around, but while we're talking about it, the Veterans Day's coming up here for the parade.
Right, I'll be marching in it.
Why can't we get somebody to get those old vets and give them a ride up to the Vets Hospital?
Well, they do. Some people bring cars.
We should get the dealerships to come down, and if it's a nice day, convertible top, have a ticker parade for these.
Maybe I'll talk to Jason Perico. He seems like a nice guy.
Yes, he is.
I used to know Jason. I was pretty good with Weaver Buick for a while, Mm-hmm. But Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, I march myself. A couple of us, we march with the Vietnam guys.
A long walk up that hill.
Yeah, but you know what? It goes quick. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's not as bad as you think for somebody. You know.
Yeah, Jason might do that. You know, I knew his dad real well, Lou. In fact, his first car shop was right down there off of about 29th and Peach.
Yeah, he used to sell Jeeps, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His grandfather was a super guy. He had a grocery store on 4th and Holland, and he looked just like him. And his wife there, they lived right across the street from St. Pat's School.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go there and try and mooch some candy off him when I was going to Jones School.
Next time I bring my car out, I'll ask him about that. See if we can.
Yeah, well,
Because there's a couple people that bring cars, but usually you don't get a lot of the old veterans there. What happens, I notice, is the Soldiers and Sailors Home, they bring them up to the VA center.
and there was.
But usually they don't march in the parade too long, you know.
That's true.
The parade itself is not bad. It's just it's not as big as it used to be years ago, but.
You go all the way downtown and everything else. And
Yeah, you should join us sometime. It's a pretty good walk, but it's not bad.
so, I have a couple of complaints.
Go ahead. I'm ready.
First of all, they did a good job on 35th Street. I mean 38th Street. I'm sorry.
Oh, you mean the state? And
Yeah. But from State Street to Pine Avenue, the speed limit is 35 miles an hour.
Okay.
From Pine Avenue to McClellan, it's 25 miles an hour.
They lowered it.
And you know the whole thing here is, I wish the police department would get out there with their timing device and get these people.
Let me get that right. So it's 35 from state.
No, it's 25 from State to Pine Avenue.
25.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you had it the other way. Okay.
Then from Pine Avenue to McClellan, 35 miles an hour.
Maybe they feel. You know, I'll ask the traffic engineer.
But I used to go down the street with in my hands when I was a young man.
See, I think they feel like, you know, going east, it's a little bit more open.
Yeah, but these people are nuts.
Well, yeah. Let me tell you, when you tell them they can go 35,
They're going 60.
absolutely. I've been blown off that road. Well, where was I the other? Geez, I couldn't believe the speed.
Yeah, they're blowing the horn at you and throwing you the bird of paradise. And
Well, yeah, the other day I'm trying to enter 90 from Peach Street. You know, you got the 2 lanes,
yeah,
and you got plenty of room to merge.
true.
And here's this guy going about 80 miles an hour on the right ramp, trying to cut everybody off, and I'm going,
Get over to get out. Yeah, that's
I mean, are you really in that much of a hurry? Come on, you know.
it's unbelievable. And these women are the worst.
You know, they're still working on. I saw it today.
They're putting in the finalities of the timing for the lights.
Yeah, and well, I think we'll be getting our left-hand turn lanes and our arrows and all that.
On Pine Avenue.
Yeah, well, it's going to help.
But I don't see anything up by the Vets Hospital down there.
There's supposed to be one at Old French Road, left-hand turns.
Yeah.
But I think the VA is a ongoing problem
Could be.
because they're trying to figure out.
How to handle it.
Yeah, they've been working on that one because the VA for a while you couldn't turn left when you come out. Remember?
True.
And it's a real problem. What's your other complaint?
And now they're doing it. My other complaint
Yeah.
is I was coming out of Mercyhurst,
Right.
and out of their entranceway, I hit 38th Street, and it was one heck of a bump.
You mean coming out of the driveway?
Out of Mercyhurst driveway, yeah. It's a real dandy.
When they did my street, they had they tried to do everybody's driveway, within reason.
Mm-hmm.
Mercyhurst didn't complain.
I don't think so. But when you're coming out of their apron way there,
Yeah,
a real jolt.
drop off.
But somebody's got to approve the payment of this.
Yeah, well, I mean, the state does when they do the pavement. I don't know how they treat what they call the grades and all that.
No.
Because sometimes they're not, if you did it wrong when you installed it,
Yeah.
you know, they may have laid that road for the old road, that driveway, and it may be out of grade, you know.
Might be. You know,
So-
they did a pretty decent job on some of the manholes, but there's still some jolters out there.
Yeah, they've been hopping. Like the one on my street was off, and they did braze that one.
You put a
Yeah.
couple rings in.
But you're right, there are a couple that are still off, but not too bad though.
No, it's not bad at all. They did a decent job, and we can finally see where our tax money went. But I wish it would have went to a local firm in Pennsylvania, not up in Ohio.
Well, you know, they put the bids out, and the state has their preferred bids too, you know.
Well, maybe they paid like in 90 days instead of on time.
Yeah, who knows? But
The people here in the state didn't want them.
I was made aware of one outfit that bidded locally that was shocked because they've never done an urban area before. And
Them brothers?
they were shocked. No, I'll tell you off the air. But they were shocked because they didn't realize manholes stick up.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, I'm seriously, because where they do their jobs is out in the county, where they probably don't have a lot of manholes, you know.
All dirt roads and the pitch of the grade.
Yeah, so you know, you come into the city and all of a sudden you got manholes, utility covers.
Yep. Well, one more quick thing and I'll get out of here. You know, Puerto Rico's in bad shape.
Yes.
And they need about $1 million of infrastructure with the utilities to get the grade up. FEMA give it to a two-man electric team.
Pardon?
They give it to a two-man electric company.
Really?
Yeah. You'll be hearing about it.
Yeah, FEMA's really, you know, they disappoint me at times.
Yes.
I mean, you thought they would have had a hard-earned lesson with Katrina, but it's kind of a shame, you know. They are Americans. People forget that.
The whole thing here is FEMA and all these other places, they don't plan or whatever. They react. They don't get their game in place.
Well, when you heard those Army generals that were in charge,
Yep.
you know, they approach problems, everything is a new problem to them.
True.
And, you know, you would think that, like FEMA, that, you know, look, this was an unusual year, but...
Yes, it was, and it's not over yet.
No, but I mean, you know...
DJ.
Yeah.
Put some chalk on that cue stick. That's what I used to walk down the street with when I was I used to make my money hustling.
Yeah? Well, it's not a cue stick. I just found this laying around.
I heard Willie Weiss took you for a ride one night.
Yeah. I used to go with Minnesota Fats. Have a good one.
You too, John.
You know what this is for?
What?
They say, talk softly but carry a big stick.
That's it?
This is it. I talk softly, but if anybody gives me any crap, I beat them up.
What are you doing with it?
I don't know. I just found it.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead,
You're
caller.
live.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
What about FEMA? You know, that's what they ought to do. Why don't they just park an aircraft carrier down there in Puerto Rico and feed off the electric and water and just hook into their grid there?
Yeah.
Build an aircraft carrier.
I don't know. Well, probably because two of the aircraft carriers are in the South Pacific now. Or the Western Pacific.
You know, maybe it's time to build one that would just be for that purpose.
Yeah, you know, that's not a bad... It's kind of like the hospital ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not... Somebody told me... Were you in the service?
No, I wasn't, no.
There was a gentleman that I went to school with, and he was in the Air Force. And he served up in not Alaska. It was, I think it was Greenland or some island up there. And it was used for, you know, national defense up there. Like, you know, radar station and all that. He claims the Navy would come in, and I don't know this because I wasn't in the Navy, I was in the Army, but he claims they could drop cables out of these ships and basically service the island, you know.
Wow.
So I think you got a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
Maybe somebody can tell us, you know, if that's true, they can do it, you know.
I mean, they might as well. I mean, I'm sure it's probably it'd be how many billions of dollars to build an aircraft carrier?
Yeah, with all the storms we're getting, though, I mean, you know.
You might as well just build one, and you don't have to put weapons on there.
Yeah.
put water and have generators on there, whether it be diesel powered or if they want to go nuclear.
Yeah, because we already
want to do.
I mean, we got hospital ships, you know.
Yeah, I mean, because more hurricanes are coming the way it looks.
Yeah, this is a rough year. I mean, I've never seen one where, you know, we get hit one after another.
Well, it was 5 years ago, I think yesterday, that Sandy hit.
Mm.
That was a bad one. I mean, that really destroyed New Jersey and New York.
Yeah.
It can happen anywhere, you know?
When I drive down through, my daughter lives in Mississippi yet. When we drive down the New Orleans area, you can still see the damage, you know.
Oh, yeah. The strain was horrible.
But then you got all those, the sad thing is all those trailers that they could never use because they were, had formaldehyde in them or something. They're laying in farm fields on the side of the road. And, you figure how much money they wasted on that. That'd be a good start towards the aircraft carrier, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing, why couldn't they get the Navy Seabees down there to Puerto Rico and help them rebuild there too? I mean,
I don't know. They activate the National Guard. They activated federal troops. Maybe they did. I mean, I don't know, but
Army Corps of Engineers, right?
We could do all sorts of stuff like that, but it seems like the current, people in charge of the government aren't going to let that happen.
Well, I mean, they got a contingent of Army down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just not deploying the personnel where they should be. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know how many, I don't know if the Seabees are in, I don't know how big they are and whether maybe they're in Afghanistan or someplace. But you would think that they have some reserve CB outfits, There used to be one in Erie, a CB outfit. They were up on Old French Road.
Hey, whatever they're doing, Kaz, I'm sure they could say, hey, you're going to delay this project, you're going to Puerto Rico, you're going to help out.
Well, when I stayed in the reserves after I left the military, I would have loved. I mean, you don't wish this on anybody, but it wouldn't have bothered me one bit if I was activated, to go to a site like that.
Yeah.
That's when you can do good for people. That's pretty good, though.
If we could cause a little less, fighting and go and do some repairing, that'd be great.
It's good for their training too, Yeah.
But doesn't seem to be the way.
Hey, one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I heard on the radio, put it in Bloomberg News, that GE Transportation, General Electric, the parent company, is thinking of selling GE Transportation.
Yeah, I did hear that rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody told, where was I? I was at a function and somebody said, did you hear the bad news that GE wants to sell off their transportation thing? That would pretty much be, what would you call that, nail in the coffin?
Guys, it's not bad news. They ought to give up on that plant and let somebody else move in there and get some jobs here.
I don't know if GE would, GE probably holds it for real estate value.
Yeah.
But I don't think they want to pay the taxes on it. I think if they want to get out of it, get out of it. Sell to Ford or GM or whomever.
Yeah.
And let them work there. I mean, that's a ready-to-go plant, Kaz.
I read an article yesterday on MSN. They were talking about how the town of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and other towns that lost industry like we did, they're picking up Amazon distribution and warehouses, and they're paying more money there than they did. They're paying more per hour to some of the workers than they did when they worked in the steel mill. And I'm going, boy, why can't we get it?
Yeah.
And they said the reason Bethlehem got it was because they're 85 miles out of New York City. And I'm thinking, here we are between Pittsburgh, Erie, and Buffalo.
Yeah, we're between
Pittsburgh, Buffalo, and Cleveland.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of everything.
And you think we would try for a warehouse?
Just think of all the empty warehouse space we have.
What do you think, sir?
Yeah, something's got to be done. I mean, I think we got a great location for doing stuff.
Well, yeah, and what we got to be careful of too is we need to treat businesses like Erie Insurance, Smith's Provision, the remaining local industries we got. We need to make sure they're happy,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just a shame that cheap plant's going to sit there.
Yeah.
Have like a skeleton crew of 1,000 people working there, when you can easily have 20,000 people employed there.
Yep. The trick will be finding finding somebody that wants to put 20,000 workers in there. That's going to be the trick, though.
Well, that's why I say, hey, I think it's just best for GE just to leave.
Yep.
So yes, guys. I mean, hey, what's the sense now? 1,000 jobs. It's not going to save us around here. You know, we need somebody to start fresh.
Yeah, you know what the companies are after long range, though. They're looking at tax breaks and right to work state.
Take the profits, yep.
Right to work state and all that, and
yep.
You know,
low wages. So
yep.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.
Hey, thanks for calling.
Yeah, I heard from somebody on the inside. I heard from a former engineer that
they're selling.
They're selling, but they're also keeping it. They want to sell off parts of it, but they want to keep their engineering base here. They want to keep a lot of their designers here. That we don't know.
You know, when you think about it, if you're an engineer, okay, you're making a pretty good salary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What purpose is it to stay in Erie, PA?
Well, it's not going to help Erie.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't want to see them move.
No, we don't want to see them move, but them keeping one building with engineers is not going to help Erie at all.
No, but I can see that one building moving because you probably want to have them, what do you call it?
If they're going to do that, then they should
they'll be with everybody else, you know.
Somebody in there who wants to use it.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey there, Cash.
Good, how you been?
Had a great costume on today.
Oh, go ahead.
Hey, that fellow mentioned about GE. Have you given some idea that maybe somehow between you and the county can push for maybe somebody else coming in and buying GE Transportation Division in Erie?
Well, first GE has to want to sell the land, and you know GE's selling their business. I don't know who they're selling it to. You know.
Well, I know in a paper, Sunday paper, there is an indication that they're going to eliminate 1,000 CEO jobs. GE in the transportation department. They are getting out of completely.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm thinking Caterpillar would be a good one to try to invite to see if they would be interested in moving in and buying that property or something.
Who is that?
Caterpillar.
You know, I heard
makes locomotives too.
Well, Caterpillar was out of Peoria when my daughter danced in that city, and they had a huge plant there in Peoria.
Yeah.
I think that's their headquarters at the time. It may still be.
Yeah.
But when I was reading the Wall Street Journal and a couple other things, they were having their problems too, though.
Well, I don't know. I'm talking to somebody from GE. They said the Caterpillar is picking up.
It may be. They had a little slowdown, but you know, at the bottom, Doc, and you know, you hate to go into this rehashing.
Yeah.
What really determines where they're going to move, and you're looking around Pennsylvania.
Not so much asking, but now's the time to send maybe Caterpillar a flyer or some kind of a portfolio of Erie consider us for future expansion or, you know.
Which is my problem with what's going on now. We have so many people with different organizations, and I honestly don't know if they meet as one, you know, with a unified voice. I like the idea that one of the mayoral candidates wants to have a office in City Hall dedicated to that. I think, you know, most of your big cities have that. But on the same hand, we can't assume they're going to move to the city. However, what we need to do is, and I think, you know, you've hit on the thing is that we should have one voice, you know, representing the city, the county, and, you know, to go after them so that you don't have like 10 different people pitching 10 different ideas, you know.
And I agree with you there. You're right. It should be uniform. Because actually what you could do is have the different ones you're talking about propose what they would like to see put in the flyer, and then the flyer could incorporate them as one plea.
I mean, they were out there bidding on, you know, God bless them, they wanted to bid on the Amazon headquarters. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I mean, it sounded good in the paper, but, you know, they're looking at a metro area of 1 million people. First of all, you can't even fly out of Erie effectively. Okay, you don't have the infrastructure that Amazon was looking at. You know, I mean, they even looked at some major cities and said, well, they're lacking.
Yeah.
You know, the Buffaloes and different things.
Right.
But I think, you know, like I was reading this article about, you know, having an Amazon regional warehouse. Yeah, we need to approach that. And, you know, somebody needs to talk to GE and say, what are your plans for Lawrence Park?
Oh,
you know, are you going to sell the land? And you know,
if Amazon wouldn't move here, at least maybe we can get to whatever company they incorporate to build the drones they want to use. Maybe
I mean, there's a lot of, you know, we're not going to get a major headquarters with them. I mean, that was pie in the sky, but, you know, like Bethlehem, PA, which is 60, 70,000 people. Of course, they're in that Lehigh Valley where you got 800,000 people. You know, our location, if you remember when we were going to do the air bridge, that's what they called it. We were going to use the Fenestra building as a tax-free zone, duty-free zone. They were going to have flights come into Erie from Europe because the airport was underutilized, and they said it was perfect.
Yeah.
You know, you had an airport that had plenty of capacity. You didn't have to fight like incoming flights.
Yeah.
And then you had the road network, 90, 79, the railroads.
Sure.
That was the plan, Doc, that we were looking, our location would have been, you know, our biggest asset.
Right.
But, yeah, I just think, you know, yeah, they do need, and I hope whoever the new mayor is and whoever the new executive on the county level is, I hope we all get together. They all promised us they would. Because we all need to talk, city, county, and the economic development people that are all out there with their various groups.
The first step in that is everybody needs to get along, and right now it feels like the county and the city don't want to get along.
Well, I think everybody's turf battling, you know, and here's the thing, you know, look, it'd be great if it was in the city. Yeah. I'm sure Mill Creek hopes it's out there. Yeah. Summit hopes it's out there, but if we're going to turn this area around, you know, this area is nothing to brag about.
Yeah.
You know, it's losing population in the county.
Right.
All right. I'm not being negative. It's a reality.
You're being a realist.
And, you know, if they really want to turn the area around, then we have to quit worrying, and we have to share with each other.
Yeah.
You know, we all have to share, play well in the sandbox together, and we don't do that.
No.
And because of that, you know, but Doc, it goes even deeper than that. You look at Harley Davidson in York, okay? And you look at Hershey Foods in Hershey, PA. And when they had new manufacturing opportunities, they moved outside the state. In fact, Hershey, they were worried they were going to move out of PA.
Okay.
And the problem is, and it goes back to that elephant in the room, you know, it goes back to taxes, corporate taxes, and it goes back to right to work state and all that. And, you know, when we're competing against Texas and North Carolina, you know, they're throwing the kitchen sink at them. And, you know.
Well, it doesn't hurt to make some kind of effort now.
No, it doesn't. And you know what? If we don't start, it's like, you know, we got to really get down and say, thank you, Smith's Provision. Thank you, your insurance. Thank you, you know, other local little corporations, and help them build also, you know.
Well, see, now, and DJ's a good one maybe that could help put this together. We need to make a better type of DVD or thumb drive or whatever they use to maybe put this on that we could send to a corporate that would talk all about Erie like you see sometimes on this channel here.
Well, I've seen them, Doc, and I've been to, you know, meetings where they showed them.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though. It really comes down to who are the guys in the room talking with them. You know, when they start pitching the real details, you know.
Yeah.
Because it comes down to what do you got to offer us? And
well, that's just it. I mean, we could do that, something like that too.
And I'm willing in the city to do what we have to do. You know, even if it means, you know, we've done in the past. We've, you know, given LERTAs out, things like that. You know. Yeah. When you look at a place like Erie Insurance, who took advantage of them and then eventually paid taxes and everything, those are the things we're going to have to do. But we're going to need help from the Commonwealth too. This is on a state level also. Yeah.
There's one other thing before I forget to mention it to you. You might want to approach from city council perspective. There's an article in, I think it was Sunday's paper, about a fellow that moved into the Erie area, and it's an issue. It's a nice animal called the skunk.
Oh,
We've got plenty of them in Erie, apparently, that are kind of letting us know that they're out there. You never know what morning, particularly during the night, they suddenly hit the air with those wonderful aroma that wakes you right out of the sleep.
No, you're right. We got skunks, woodchucks.
So we need somebody. I know we have we need I don't know, we have I guess you technically call him a dog catcher, but we need an animal control officer.
Well, we do, but I think the problem is when we talk to him, and I talked to him about this problem, and Jimmy Thompson was, if you remember when Jimmy was alive, he was the lead dog on this. Oh, bad term, but he, Pennsylvania has some weird laws, and you probably know it better than I do because...
Well, I know you got to have, the one fellow that they made comment to, yeah, he offers his services with a fee. I think it's a minimum of $25.
Yeah, there's some
he sets out or something like that. But the thing is, we need some in the city. It's a little different. You need somebody that's doing it for the city.
Well, the county used to have they even got rid of their rodent control thing. They used to come out and like bait fields and everything. If when you had like bad areas, they stopped that. We've looked into it, but then I think you have to have him certified.
All they do
as a trapper because there's some weird. I don't want to say over the air because it would cause some shock to people. What you're allowed to do to eliminate a problem, and
well, you have to be certified, definitely.
Yeah, and if you don't, you can take care of problems in your yard, but it has to be done in one of two ways.
And for rabies, particularly, I think the skunk maybe.
Yeah, and you know what? That's
the coyote there for a while.
Usually when they did the coyotes, they had to bring. Didn't they bring the state game commission in when they took them out of Erie Cemetery?
But you're noticing, I think, more and more, even up in your neighborhood. You were talking about the deer and that.
Oh yeah, because what's happening? People are building. They're building north rather than building south.
But basically, they're a health risk. Not so much they're a nice-looking animal.
Yeah.
Forget they're carriers of the deer tick with green Lyme disease.
That's why we have a study going on about allowing gardening in the city with high grass.
That's going to increase the animals, like particularly the groundhog.
That's why I'm having second thoughts on some of it because, the other day, I wake up and I got a woodchuck trying to set up residence under my concrete steps. And it's not the first time I've gotten rid of them before, but, you'll see dead skunks. That's not unusual. But now you're seeing a lot of deer, a lot more than you used to.
So we need to either one or two things. We need to either get an animal control officer.
Yeah.
We need to allow hunting within the city.
Well, that's tricky because of...
Oh, I know, but that's why I'm just ribbing a little bit there, but sarcastically. But
yeah, that's why they tell people, you can't shoot them, and you can't use a bow and arrow on them.
That's right. Yeah. Basically, that's what you'd have to use is archery because it's the shortest flight artillery you can use, and you don't even have to have you could have basically a field tip which won't go in deep enough just to stun them or something.
Yeah, it is a problem though because I've seen and for a while we had like three skunks up in my neighborhood. They got rid of them finally, but they're not easy, Oh.
You're not allowed to talk about your neighbors that way.
Pardon?
Not allowed to talk about your neighbors about that way.
No, they're good people, but we all talked about how they will find and set up underneath your porch.
Sure.
Yeah, I have a storage shed, and they try to set up underneath there. They end up putting patio blocks around it so they can't dig under there anymore.
Yeah, I took care of one problem, and they found another place to. Because we got a lot of empty fields, like especially up in my neighborhood, and they.
But that's an issue that if we don't start looking at it with some seriousness, it's going to become a larger problem than what it is already. So that's one reason I brought it up.
And then there's another problem. We have people.
There's quite a few talking about it in the paper.
We have people from different cultures that are raising animals in their sheds and stuff.
Right, yeah. They're not supposed to, but.
Yeah, that's not, Oh well.
Well, hey, just wanted to bring that up. Hey, All right, you guys safe. Have a happy Halloween.
Yep, and I'll see you after the holiday, okay?
Well, I hope so. I got to remember what you look like.
Yeah.
I can remember what you look like, you know.
Oh, sure.
If you're not careful, I'll reveal your identity.
Hey, you got to stop into his house. He lets you put a sign in his yard. Now you owe him.
You know, we got him over the barrel, though. We can reveal his identity.
I would never do that.
Oh, yeah.
I would never do that.
No, I wouldn't either. We got him, though.
No.
But don't worry, DJ. If he does that, I'll put him in that suit you were talking about.
Yeah, there you go.
Then I'll put him out in the woods hunting season.
Good job.
All right, hey, you guys take it easy. It's good talking to you.
You too, Doc. You too, Doc. Yeah, I got him. I got some information. He's looking for some place to set up. He's got like Christmas villages, all sorts of Christmas displays.
Yeah.
I found a place that might be interested in setting some of them up. Library.
Ah, they would do it.
They're very interested.
That'd be nice because they got a big lobby.
Yeah, they got the lobby. They got the area between the kids section and the lobby. So I'm hoping that works out.
Yeah, you know, years ago I used to love when Plakas used to put a chocolate display in his window.
Yeah.
And
actually, I think Doc was talking.
Some of the
about
stores
that.
used to put little displays, but you know,
Yeah.
when you think about it,
Yeah.
someplace like the library or the Boston store with a big lobby,
I think Palaco's.
it'd be nice to have a house. And you know what? You could charge you wouldn't have to, but if you want to make a contribution,
Yeah.
you know, to something, some worthy cause.
Palaco's used to do the Christmas display at the library, and they don't anymore. So if we can get something started again, that'd be great. Just like I'd love to set up a huge light display. There's a lot of places. If you go, what is it, West Virginia?
Yeah.
What's that one? Ogilvy? You go to Ogilvy, and it's just a drive-through miles and miles of Christmas lights.
Well, there's one in...
Just look at all the land we have. We can do this.
Allentown does one where you drive through a city park,
Yeah.
but the city park has a road through it. That's That's where we don't.
Right.
Okay? You'd have to walk
Let's do Presque Isle. Look at Presque Isle.
You have to get the state to go along with that.
If we could get the state to go along with it, though, we could light up the entire
That would be
Presque
good.
Isle.
Go ahead, caller.
I've got a question about vacant property in the city.
Go ahead.
I'd like to know if a person owns a house and he ups and leaves it, and he holds a mortgage on it.
Mm-hmm.
He still owes money on it, and he just leaves it. Don't pay no bills or nothing on it,
Right.
and it becomes a nuisance.
Right.
Now, who's responsible for that building?
Well, they will still go after him. The county, of course, with the taxes, it'll go up on sheriff's sale. But then you got, like you said, if there's a mortgage on it, the bank's going to be involved.
Okay, now that's what point I want to make.
Pardon?
That's the point I want to make. The bank is still involved.
Yeah, because they probably have first lien.
But I'm not talking about liens. What I'm talking about is that house is sitting there vacant.
Yeah.
The grass is growing. Garbage is on the lawn.
What we try to do in that case is we try to identify the owner, and if they're out and they're gone, then if there's like you mentioned, if it falls back, let's say, to the bank, then we'll contact the bank and say, or the realtor and say, you got to keep the grass cut. It's not always easy, though. Do you have one in particular that I can check on?
Well, there's about 1,000 of them in area court.
Oh, no, yeah, you're right about that.
To pick one and go check it out.
Yeah, you know what the problem is in this Commonwealth, and this is what came up there, and people asked me, you cannot just take someone's property easily. You can't even declare it blighted easily. But, what we do in those cases where you have an absentee landlord, they try to locate him. They do everything they can, but at one point in time, yes, they will take, action. If he's not paying his taxes, then, they will start the legal proceedings. In the meantime, our people will try to find out who's either administering it or has taken it over to cut the grass. If they don't, many times we get stuck cutting it. And then we lien the property.
Well, it can't be that difficult to find out holds the money on the property.
Oh, no, that's not the tough part. It's trying to find where they are or contacting them. Some of them just run off and hide. And, you know.
I'm talking about the people that hold the mortgage on a place.
Oh, that one, yeah, that's easy enough.
But because there's got to be something that forces them, seeing how they're holding the mortgage on it. If they sell that property, if somebody wants to buy that property, they have to work to the bank to go and work up a price to buy it, right?
I think so, yes.
Okay, if they have to do that, then that bank should be taking care of that property.
Yes, they should. And what
recourse does the city have to make these banks get up and take care of business?
Well, what we can do, and we don't, and I'll be honest with you, there's a reluctance. Council asks this question all the time about, and, you know, we ask the administration constantly, why don't you throw the hammer down on certain properties? You know, start the legal proceedings, start putting pressure on them, embarrass them, put them in the paper. You know, say these properties are owned by the bank, these are currently owned by realtors. You know, somebody has the right to them. And then, you know, I mean, leasing property is great, but you don't get the money until you sell the property, if you ever do. But yeah, we need to be more proactive, and I'll be honest, we're probably not.
If they let the property go to hell, there's not going to be too many people involved in wanting to buy it.
Nope. The other day I met a gentleman.
Like you say, it takes forever to get anything done.
Right. 4 years. I saw a guy that showed me a piece of property, and it's been laying vacant for 4 years. And the trouble is, it's owned and they're paying their taxes, but the house is vacant. Now a tree fell down, is going to fall down probably on his car or his house, and we don't have the laws to force them to cut the tree. And so you look at that and you go, what the heck is going on where you got a property for 4 years, you know? But I sense your frustration, and I see it more times than.
Yeah.
We have to start. That's why one of the things that council passed back in the early part of the year was an ordinance to start what they call a quality of life ticketing, which means our people can issue tickets, and then we would have a DJ assigned to the city or county that would actually, you know, answer to us and would start legal proceedings.
Okay, now with all these legal proceedings you're talking about, you have a person running for mayor, and it's been done before, we're going to eliminate this blighted property. Now, he specified 1,000 homes in 1,000 days.
Right. It won't happen because, A, we don't have the money, and B, you can't take property that quick.
The point is, if it takes so long for the city to get anything done,
right?
Even though if he gets elected mayor, how is he going to make any changes in 1,000 days it takes too long to get anything done?
Well, what we have to do, and I was going to give me 1 minute and I'll explain. Whoever.
Okay, you got it right. You said you have to do it.
Right. The new mayor, whoever he may be, along with council, who is willing and has already passed some ordinances that have not been okayed yet or been voted on the final enactment, we have authorized the formation of a land bank, which will help the redevelopment acquire property. Also, we need to work with some church groups and other people that are willing to renovate property. And we also need to be proactive in taking legal action, which we are not presently. And then along with the ordinance that we passed, that was a quality of life ticketing and the formation of our own, what we would call a court that would answer to the city or the county. Those things if we did this, maybe it's not 1,000 in 1,000 days, but we start ramping up the process and people see that we're serious, where right now you look at some of the sweeps we did on the Lower West Side, you still have some houses that are owned by out-of-state people that haven't done a thing with them.
Well, okay, put a lien on their property out of state.
And that's what, I ask all the time, but there's, you get the runaround, you get this and that. We need to stop talking. We really do. And, if they need more employees, then come to council and ask for them. And if you need some laws passed, this council that I serve on is willing to pass the laws. Whatever we need to do that we can do legally, we're ready to do. So if there's some ideas they need that we can, start pushing the process, we need to. Because, like you say, all you got to do is ride around town, pick your neighborhood, and, which is why I asked the question, if one man can issue 1,100 citations, you read that in the paper, right? What is the other 5 doing? We need to be out there. If I can ride down Pine Avenue and spot 3 houses, and I don't even have to get out of my car,
Yeah.
You still there, sir?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, we got to be more proactive. We really do. And I hope whoever the new mayor is, and, we'll have a couple new council members, I personally am willing to pass whatever laws we have to, but once council passes them, we need the administration to carry them out. And we need the people that are accountable for it.
Well, he should be able to give you some good ideas.
He had some ideas they did in other states, and that's why I constantly talk with our state legislators and say, we have to change the state laws. We have to make it easier for a community to take over bad property. You can't let it run down. Once it looks like you say, who's going to buy it? You look at it and you go, is it worth even fixing up, The
legislators going to get together with you. They're not even in office.
No, that's the problem. They,
days off.
They're up and, they need to come down into the communities, and like the bigger cities, all of them have trouble. We all got old property, and how do you get, you don't want to tear it all down. You want to renovate it, and there's people out there that'll do it, and we haven't approached all of them yet. Mm-hmm. And I do hope that in the next.
Well, like you said, people that own the property don't even live here.
No, a lot of them don't, and it's like a lot of the landlord that owns property on a lot of it on East 38th, where the college kids are living now. Those houses are starting to be run down a little bit, and in a few years they'll be in bad shape. These guys either live way out in the county, or they live out of town in North Carolina or someplace. They really don't care. All they're doing is counting the money that's coming in.
Yep.
But that's the problem today, is we don't have what we call
make stricter laws for housing.
We don't have live-in landlords. We have landlords that that's a business now.
Like you said before, we're limited on the laws that we can.
We are. That's why they got to change them on a state level.
We're not the right class of city.
Well, even that in Pennsylvania, it's tougher than hell to take a house.
Yeah,
it really is. Like, we're only blighting 5 to 8 every meeting I go to.
Yeah.
And that's not even putting a dent in it.
Anything else we can help you with, sir?
No, that's it. Just see if you can get some legislation passed.
Yep. And thank you for, like I said, I will do on council level what we can legally. And, if there's tools they need in their toolbox, as they say, this council is willing to do it.
Yep.
So let's hope the new mayors have some, good ideas, whoever they are.
The council will come next year.
Pardon?
You're gonna have about 3 new people on city council next year, won't you?
Well, there's 4. There'll be 4. There's 4 seats up. Mine's up. Councilman Winarski, and there's two vacant seats. So we are definitely going to have at least a few new people. that are, and hopefully their ideas, some of the veterans on council and whoever the new administration is, I've talked to both the mayor candidates, and they've assured me they're going to sit down with us and talk to us. And I think that's where we need to go going forward, that this plan they talk about is going to be a 20-year plan, and maybe longer. It's going to take a lot of hard work, and it's going to get frustrating. We may not see the changes we want right away, but hopefully when you look down the line, and I'll probably be gone, and, so other people will be gone, but what we do in the next few years will set the pace for how we solve the problem.
Well, we're out of time, so thanks for calling, sir.
You're going to solve it right.
Yep, that's what I say. But we got to have patience in this one. We can't just, when things don't go right, just stop and, give up on it. It's going to be a long, long process. It didn't happen overnight, and it's not going away overnight.
It'll be around for a long time. I want to see something.
Yeah, that's what we want to see. If we start seeing progress, people love progress.
Yeah.
When you see something good happening, you want to be part of it.
So thanks for calling. We're going to let you go so we can wrap up here.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Oh, it was a good show, but...
Yeah. But it was short, and now even shorter because I just got here.
Well, that's okay. You had a little...
I just got back from the ER. I have to say, every time I go to the Hammocks Emergency, it's always an adventure. I have a leg I twisted, and I have to go home and take some muscle relaxants and painkillers. So I figured I'm going to do this right now, and then I'm going home to take drugs.
Don't drive a car.
And then I'm not going to drive a car, so I'm going to go home. And
you'll have some nice dreams, I think.
I'm going to speak softly and carry a large baton.
Those muscle relaxers give you some nice dreams.
I knight you, Sir Casimir.
What is that?
I don't know. It's some display rod that I found over on a filing cabinet.
I think it's a pointer pole.
I like picking up random things. Here, we can point over here. Over here. There's stuff over your head, and we're out of time.
There we are. And will I see you next week?
Yes. I will most likely be here next week.
We had a good time at Cat TV.
We had a good time. We had a party Saturday, and then Sunday we were shooting a new TV show.
A reminder to the people: save all your
rummage.
Save
your rummage. You can always drop it off at Cat, and we'll sell stuff, make some money next year. Last thing I want to leave you with is that I went down to see the Idea Lab. Which I've told you about makerspaces, how we have a makerspace at Cat.
Yeah.
But this is a makerspace with some teeth. They have 3D printers and vinyl cutters and things where you can... At the library.
Really?
Down at the Blasco Library. Go down and ask about the Idea Lab. And it's a fantastic place where you don't pay anything. You just have a library card. You could 3D print items. You could make items out of nothing.
Wow,
you can learn, different little production things, video stuff, music editing. They have a lot of stuff, and we as Makerspace at Cat, we're going to be hopefully working with them.
It's not for storing books no more.
It's not just books, because books are still there. Books are knowledge. We like knowledge, so... Thanks for watching today, Kaz. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for showing up, DJ.
Thanks for showing up about 20 minutes late.
And thanks to our engineer in the back room, Mike.
Engineer! Pull the whistle.
He'll never come out, though.
That's my train whistle. Because GE, yeah.
Oh, it's cold out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.